Welcome to my December 2020 horoscope series. This month is going to be absolutely historical in nature. We are experiencing an astrological event which only occurs every 20 years, and that is the Great Conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. Now, what's special about this particular Great Conjunction is that we haven't had one in the sign of Aquarius in over 600 years. Guys, please watch my horoscope videos for your ascendant, sun, and moon sign, because this is really going to set the tone for the next 2 decades. Everyone will be affected, but the signs who will see the most monumental and cataclysmic changes are Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio. Without further ado, let's dive straight in. Hi Taurus, welcome to your December 2020 horoscope. You guys have a wild ride in store, not just for December, but honestly for the next 20 years. And I'm a Taurus as well, so anyway, I won't get too ahead of myself. We'll start from the beginning of the month. On the 1st of December, Mercury will be entering the sign of Sagittarius, and this will be in your 8th house. Wherever Mercury goes, we spend a lot of time and energy thinking about the matters of that 8th house, or the house that it's transiting. So with the 8th house, you will be spending a lot of energy on your mutual resources, whether that's tidying up your combined accounts with your life partner, or any accounts that you have with your business partner. You could be thinking a lot about your emotional security in your intimate relationships, whether that pertains to intimacy in a sexual nature, or even just how emotionally close you feel to your partner. For some of you, you could be delving into anything to do with the occult, whether that's astrology, tarot, tantra, spiritual healings, and certainly a lot of you could be going through anything that's been psychologically tormenting you. In any case, on the 14th or the 15th of December, we have a new moon total solar eclipse in your 8th house. So it's in Sagittarius at 23 degrees. Now this solar eclipse is actually conjunct Mercury and the South Node, and it's squaring Neptune. So Taurus, every time we see an eclipse, which is at a minimum of 4 times per year, these eclipses bring about something that is fated in nature. And with a new moon solar eclipse, new moons equate to new beginnings. So this new beginning will be fated in nature. And for a lot of you, it will be seeing the new source of income for that of your life partner, or it could be a new source of income that you earn through your clients and services that you offer. And many of you will experience a newfound intimacy with your intimate partner. Now, for others of you, you will finally have some kind of obstacle or blockage that you've been experiencing for a while come into your conscious understanding. You'll finally be cognizant of whatever fear or traumas have been holding you back in some area of your life. It could be something that is that happened to you when you were a young child, or it could be something that's so totally buried in your subconscious that it's a repressed memory of sorts. Now, the good thing, Taurus, is that you can release this energy. And the reason for that is because the conjunction to the South Node and Mercury, the South Node represents detachment, Mercury represents your conscious understanding, and then squaring Neptune, this is another planet that represents loss. So in a sense, you are detaching from and losing this connection to an obstacle, a trauma, or a psychological fear which has been burdening you. And this will occur within 3 to 6 months of the eclipse. So by the end of May, for many of you Taurians, and certainly for those of you who have your moon in Taurus, you will be free of this burdensome energy which has really impeded you from emotional intimacy, your understanding of your inner psyche, and the psychological workings of your mind. And honestly, any area where you have felt creatively or emotionally blocked, you can be free of that. Now, on the 15th of December, Venus will enter the sign of Sagittarius, and this will be in your 8th house as well. So you can enjoy more intimacy with your partner. You can feel more emotionally secure in this relationship with your life partner. And many of you will become more interested in astrology and become more interested in tarot. And for anyone who receives a tarot reading or an astrological reading during, let's say, 4 weeks from the 15th of December, you can receive some kind of healing or a blessing from this reading. And, certainly if you are seeing a psychologist, you're working with a therapist of any kind, you will see beneficial results during that period. On the 17th of December, Saturn is entering the sign of Aquarius, and Saturn will remain here until March 2023. Saturn as a planet is concerned with, it's actually the natural ruler of your 10th house, which is where it's going to be residing for 2.5 years. But Saturn as a planet is concerned with restructuring, rebuilding. It can be building something new. It doesn't have to be something that's already in existence. But in the 10th house, this relates to your career, your public standing, your public reputation, and your vocation. So you are going to be working so hard on your career and on the face that you present to the world. The 10th house is the house in your astrological birth chart, which shows the highest level of public visibility. So anyone who is a celebrity, a politician, anyone who's in the public eye has a very strong or activated 10th house. Now, on this 19th of December, Jupiter will be entering Aquarius. Jupiter changes signs once a year, so Jupiter hasn't been in Aquarius for 12 years. But 2 days later, on the 21st of December, we see Jupiter in Aquarius and Saturn in Aquarius meet up to within 0.1 of a degree. So we call this the Great Conjunction, and this conjunction only happens every 20 years. And the fact that it's happening in the sign of Aquarius, it's an astrological event that we haven't seen, as I mentioned in my introduction, in over 600 years. Now, Taurus, you are a fixed sign, and the other fixed signs are Leo, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So for Taurus in particular, this great conjunction is going to have an absolutely enormous effect on your life, and over the next 2 decades, you will be dedicating yourself to your life's work. It doesn't matter if you're 15 or 30 or 50 or 70. You are seeing this beginning of a brand new cycle, Taurus. So this cycle, this 20-year period, will be all about building your career and your life's work. Saturn as a planet wants you to repeat and perfect and dedicate time to wherever Saturn is placed in the chart and whatever sign it's in. And as I mentioned, this relates to your career. So for those of you who are either steadily working on your career, or you've been toying with the idea of an industry shift or career shift, or perhaps even starting your own business or your own empire, if what you are doing lines up with this December 21st conjunction, or thereabouts, doesn't have to be to the exact day, just know that you will be in alignment with your true purpose, your calling in life, and your soul's purpose, essentially. many Taurians, whether it's sun, moon, or ascendant, it doesn't have to be sun or ascendant. It can be all, one of the three. Or, if you have a lot of Taurus in your chart, wow, this is going to hit you really heavy. This conjunction will make you work so hard, and you might not actually see the fruits of your labor occur until after 2023, because the next 2.5 years is really about solid, dedicated work. And as Taurians, I know that you guys know what it is to persevere with your dreams, your goals, and you'll just work doggedly over the next 2.5 years especially. But just remember, Taurus, that what you are building towards is actually karmic in nature. And the reason that I say that is because Saturn is a planet that rules karma, and Jupiter is a planet which rules divine truth. Now, what's interesting, Taurus, is that both Jupiter and Saturn are the two planets in astrology which represent teachers. So many of you will start your ascent, okay, to reach the highest point in your career, and many of you will be doing this in a capacity which relates to teaching others. Now, it doesn't have to be a university teacher or professor. For many of you, this will be a teacher. You might be becoming a teacher who is spiritual in nature or religious in nature, a pastor, a priest, a yoga master, a guru, an astrologer. Aquarius rules the sign of astrology. There's so many different ways that, we can cut it and slice it, Taurus, but the takeaway point from this great conjunction is that it is all about your career. And 2021 is only going to be more hectic with a square to Uranus in Taurus, which is in your first house. Again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So moving along to Mercury entering Capricorn on the 20th of December, and then the Sun moving into Capricorn on the 21st of December. That essentially kicks off Capricorn season. So this will be occurring in your 9th house. So Taurus, you will be spending a lot of time thinking about your world views, your personal philosophies, what your morals are, what it is that you want to, your ethics, and what it is that you want to stand for. What are your beliefs surrounding religion? What are your beliefs surrounding spirituality and benefiting greater causes in humanity? Because the 9th house is what we do with a benevolent nature, and it comes out of the generosity of your own heart. So for 4 weeks, from the 21st of December through to mid-January, or the 20th of January, you could also be focusing on making travel plans, import and export. Now, if you work in import and export, or you have your own online business and you sell internationally, you can definitely see a spike in your sales at this time. Or in any case, you will have more visibility with your online store or whatever company it is that you work for that is involved, that has a global or international aspect to it. Now, for others of you, if you are writers, if you're authors, journalists, if you publish any kind of article, honestly, you could even be blog writers. If you publish things online or in print, you could have your works become noticed by the public. You could see a lot of sales in your books that you've written, or your articles, whether they're blogs or in newspapers. A lot of them could be receiving recognition of some kind, or perhaps they're in higher circulation. Now, lastly, for December 2020, on the 29th or the 30th of December, depending where you live in the world, we will see the full moon in Cancer at 8 degrees, which occurs in your 3rd house. And it's actually opposite Mercury in Capricorn in the 9th house, and it's squaring Uranus in the 1st house, which is your ascendant house. So you could see the completion of some course or training course or online course that you've been doing, or short course as well. It could be that you have an accelerated completion, or it could come to an abrupt ending. Some of you may unexpectedly release, let go of, or drop your studies with this course because you either can't be bothered anymore or something else comes along, or you may have to unexpectedly push the pause button on this course. Now, for others of you, you could experience miscommunications with siblings. I have to tell you, Taurus, that this end of the month energy will have a certain Mercury retrogradeness to it. And the reason for that is because we have Mercury involved in the full moon, in the opposition with the full moon, and the square to Uranus, which gives that eclectic, chaotic kind of energy to things. So could be miscommunications with siblings, teammates, schoolmates, or even your close group of friends. If you work in import or export, or you're working on some kind of team project, again, we could see the close of this project or the completion of this project come to an early finish or an abrupt finish. I just want to tell you lastly, Taurus, please be careful with travel around this time. So 3 days before the full moon and 3 days after. So let's say from the 26th of December through till around the 3rd of January. Be very careful when you're driving on the roads. It doesn't have to be driving. It can be vehicles of all kinds. It can be bicycles. You could be on a boat. I just want you to be really careful when it comes to driving. And also just double check your texts and emails before you send them, because as I said, you could experience some kind of Mercury retrograde-like event around that time. So Taurus, that's all I have for you for the month of December. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, please hit subscribe. Taurus, I will see you next year.